So we're gonna do the key poses for the third and final attack in this chapter. And this third attack, I didn't actually shoot reference for it because it's kind of acrobatic and I just can't do it. So, but in these situations, I'll either thumbnail or I'll kind of look for some video reference. I have the idea of what I want to do, and I'll kind of describe that, which is I want to be in this end position for the second attack, and I'm going to jump up and kind of cock the sword back, and the sword blade is actually going to be facing forward this time, and I'm going to throw it down as if like it's an arrow, and it's going to throw down into the ground, and I'm going to hit this really cool kind of like pre-throw pose and post-throw pose, kind of like a nice anticipation and nice settle pose, except I'll be floating in the air. And then when the sword comes into the ground, I actually land and pull it out of the ground. So let me kind of plot out some key poses to kind of show what I'm talking about here. And I think when I don't have the luxury of having reference, I always talk about reference, right? And I want to practice what I preach by basically going over this video here with some drawings over my. I don't need that first part that's cut off anyway. So basically it's going to go from here, and then I'll turn on this part here. And once it gets to here, I'm basically going to be in this pose here. Very basic, kind of just copy the pose that I have. Both legs, one arm out like this, and this arm is there. And I have this long blade here. Right, my head's right here, and I'm going to basically shoot out into a kind of anticipation type pose where I'm really like my sword is here and my feet are still here, even this foot's here, but I'm kind of like jumping out this way. And I'm not a great artist by any means, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to like thumbnail this stuff out. So once I get here, I'm going to go into a kind of, this will be my right foot, this will be kind of my left foot, and I'm going to be, my spine is going to be here, and this arm is going to be cocked back like this, and the sword is going to be kind of sticking out like this, right? And this right arm is going to be out like that, right? So I'm going to be like, pop, and then I'm going to hold up here for a while and then actually fire out the sword like this, so that now my if this is my right leg, the one that's kind of like a bit fatter, then now my right leg is kind of stretched out like this, and then my left leg is the one. So I'm kind of mirroring the poses. And then my sword is like this, and this sword has just been shot down here, and this right arm is back like that. So it's basically like boom, and then I'm gonna hang up here for a little bit, and then kind of get into like a more of a crouched position like this, where both feet are kind of like this, and maybe even get more compact. And then I'm going to stretch out a bit, kind of like, both feet kind of coming down, and this is like this, so it's like pop, and then my sword still here like this, right? And then the sword actually is being pulled by. That kind of settle. I hit my settle, and I basically grip the sword here, and then I go back into kind of just like your basic type of pose like this, right, with my sword. So just kind of show you what I'm going to do. Take off, in air, hang time, really cool antic pose, really cool throw pose, and then antic, stretch down, and land, go into that, right? So let's kind of get back into Maya with this one. I'm going to go to my last pose here. I'm going to hold this for a little bit, right? I'm just going to dupe this, not the mesh. I'm going to do a moving hold on this, like that. And then I'm going to keep this the same, because I'm going to focus on the takeoff pose. And this is going to be timed out properly, actually. This is going to be kind of a little bit slow here, but I'm actually going to time this out for real, properly. So I'm going to do, or I'm going to try to at least. So from there. All right, so we start with our takeoff pose. Up like this. And I could probably just get rid of this image playing, because it's not really something that I'm using for reference right now, at least. So I'll pop up. And this is where I can kind of talk about kind of what I mentioned about it feeling like a jump in a way. We want to see that last frame of pushing off the ground, right? So like that kind of push off is what I'm trying to achieve with this pose here. And a lot of times I reset my spine to 0, bring it back to neutral pose, and then pose it from there. And everything is kind of looking like it's like I'm just trying to lift off as much as possible. And now is not necessarily the time for my stretch frames, at least not yet. I'm going to put those in a little bit later, and I'm going to talk about why I do that, and why I do it, and my process behind it as well. So everything's kind of rising up, but there are certain things that stay down. In this case, my sword is going to lag. Like this. I'll see how much I can actually get it to lag. Now, we want our key poses to be super important, but at the same time, I'm not going to fall in love with these. And I can be flexible to change them later if I need to. These will also act the same way, where they're kind of pointed down. Oops. Okay, we can always go back to our video of what we want it to be. Like this kind of move is kind of what I'm going for. And then I go up here and I'm gonna actually do a moving hold up here where I hit this pose. I could probably just kind of keep that up and reference it, make it a little smaller. Okay. I don't necessarily need to follow this timing either. Like if I play this, it's pretty decent timing, I'd say, but again, I don't need to follow it right on cue. But yeah, so in air pose, the takeoff is going to be 3 frames or so, and then I'm actually going to time this out so this moves over 1 frame. So 83 to 7, and then once I get up here, it'll be 90. So another 4 frames to get up here. And again, timing is going to change for sure, but this is because it's my third attack. It's kind of like 1, 2, and then bang, boost out into a bigger attack like this. And what I want to do is I want to open up, so it's like I'm going this way, and then I want my sword hand to be cocked back behind me. So this is actually going to twirl like this. And then this one. This twirls like this, so it actually kind of twirls a little bit as I go up. It'll be more obvious as I adjust my spine. Raise this up, because I want this hand to just be like cocked back, almost like ready to punch in a way, right? And I'm going to do something that kind of is going to do a little bit of a cheat, which I'll show you in a second here. Is I actually want this hand to flip like this. And then if I open up my, oops, my outliner again, and find my sword. My sword control. Or actually, I don't need to open it up. It'll just be this one. I want my sword to rotate this way, like this. So you see how it kind of cheats? And I'll cheat it better. But basically, the grip is holding like this. And as I rotate my hand, you can see here it's like flipping between. And it flips back this way. So now I look like I'm kind of like going to stab it into somebody. And then this one is kind of out like this. And maybe, you know, because I'm up in the air, maybe I'm kind of bent down a little bit more like this. Something like that. And then this one here, actually, this now I kind of move on to my feet. Something like that. And this pose I'm going to spend some time on because I really want this one to feel super iconic and just like really cool. Like if I hit my silhouette, I need it to feel like it's just everything about it should feel like it's ready to pounce, right? Maybe I do need to move this back a bit. So I want to fly up. And my next pose is going to be kind of like, if I look at this video player, it's going to be like the throwing a javelin down, right? Like this is my anticipation to like throw it down. And then the next one will actually be me throwing it down. Something like that. I could even maybe twist this a little bit more to kind of make it look like I'm twisting into it. Twist. Twists. And this is gonna kind of hold for. I'm actually gonna hold this pose for, I don't know, this many frames. Goes up, holds. Maybe it moves forward just a little bit and higher. Maybe I'm even cocked back even more. Definitely a challenging part of it. Trying to find the poses that are going to work and feel the most powerful. If you're following along at home, you know, don't skip on these ones. These are going to be the poses that you really like, the ones that really stand out, I feel like. And then when it throws down like a javelin, it's just going to be reversed, right? So now what you can see here is that I'm essentially kind of like C-shaped. And this next pose, when I do the attack, is going to reverse the other way, right? And right now my force is going up this way. And when it comes down, it's going to be like winding this way for that C shape. All right. So when it throws the other way, it's going to be bang, kind of comes down like this. And this just gets reversed like that. Something like that. Bang. Maybe find the C shape more in the spine if I can. And this arm now has just released all that energy. All this energy is like bang, slamming into the ground. And this sword is actually not even in the hand anymore. This sword I'm turning follow hand, I'm going to turn off. And now when I move this, oh wait, it still moves with it. Follow world prop. Like that. My world prop is right here, I guess. But I don't necessarily need to see that. All I need is this. And it's going to slam into the ground. Let's I think right about now is a good time to create an image plane, or not an image plane, just a regular ground plane. Oh, it has the sword texture on it. That's funny. Assign a new material, just destroy Lambert gray. Turn my grid off because I have a plane now. And something like this. Because I want to see... That gray background is not doing me any favors against the ground, so maybe I'll change... Alt B will change me to black. Is that good enough? That might be a nice background, right? I kind of like this though, this gray one here. I think what I'll end up doing is I'll just grab my ground plane, change the material on it a little bit. It's darker. Something like that. And then when this sword is here, yeah, it doesn't move with the body anymore. It'll just have like stabbed into the ground, like bang, or maybe even into an enemy. So it's kind of one of those like shooting down attacks. Let's go back to focusing on this pose. Look at my shoulder. So you see this the change, even though the kind of posing is similar, it's like definitely a switch of arms. Just bang. Maybe it doesn't need to be so. Bang. And then the feet also change too. So it's like the feet's like opens up this way. Bang. Something like that, you know, to get that kind of boom. And my body shouldn't stay, so when I throw this down like that, when you throw, you're kind of using that force to go down this way, then your body might raise up this way a little bit, right? So it kind of looks like it kind of go bang, kind of flips up like that, and then maybe even, yeah, just kind of maybe go forward a little bit. Boom. I want it to feel very like snappy. It's like bang, whoosh, bang. And then from here, this kind of holds up here. Boom. Just like how this pose held like this pose will hold to just for a little bit. And then same kind of thing where, you know, just for now, we'll kind of hold it like this. So it kind of goes bang. And then from here, I kind of hit this pose and kind of come down, right? Now, I don't know if I necessarily need to hit this, but maybe I do. Because I was thinking about maybe going from here straight into there. But, I probably should try to hit some kind of pose like that. Let's see here. Let me see what this gives me. Let's see. Bang. I don't know if I need that. Let me try to go right into this one. Something like this. It might be too big of a jump, but let's give it a shot. So it kind of goes. Yeah, I probably should follow my intuition and, well, let's see what happens here. I'm going to zero this out. That's zeroed out? I didn't think so. Something like that. So, because it's coming down, I want everything to kind of be looking like it's lagging up. Ooh, what happened here? Gotta make sure everything's keyed here. I guess I didn't fully key that frame. That's what happens. It's like, looks kind of a little strange. And then as I come down, And I flip this like so, like this leg is lower, but then on this one, this leg is higher, because I feel like it gives me better kind of like, it's hard to tell now, but it gives me, anytime you can kind of flip it, so it's like the, even here, it's like my left leg is up on the anticipation, but it's down on the settle, but then it's up again on the hit. Anytime you kind of flip stuff like that, it gives you more variety between the poses, but again, you don't want to fall into a formula where you're doing it too much. I'm gonna say I threw it this way like this. Kind of goes bang. Don't worry, I'll fix all the in between stuff. Okay, and then from here, settle into idle. Right. So he's gonna. The cool thing is like he hits, boom, slams it down, and then drops down into the idle, right? Or into the settle. I'm sorry. This is the landing, and then the cool thing is like I have this idle here. How can I, because it's a game animation, how can I make the start pose the same as the end pose? Well, he's facing away from us, right? And he goes 1, 2, and then he comes in here like this, hits, and then as I come down here, what if I were to take this pose, copy it, paste it over here. This happens a lot in games where we need to like really make it. Yikes, what happened there? That was strange. Huh. Let me try to figure that out, because that's a weird one. Let's see. A lot of times we do have to get back to idle, they call it, right? Get back to idle on this one. Oops. Let's do this. There we go. That's much better. So now I take this, anything that might get left behind, I take it with me. So what's getting left behind here? Nothing. All right, cool. Oops. I go over here. Take it all the way over here. Where did I land? Let me look at the right foot here. I might need to flip this pose. I may need to flip it. Yep, may need to happen. Actually, no. It may not need to happen. I'm going to use this pose, but I'm not going to use it till later. What I'm going to do is move this over, somewhere over here. And I would like, okay, so here's what I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. When I come in here, I'm going to land it here. Yikes. Oh, no wonder. I can delete this key. I'm actually going to land it where this pose is. Animation can get messy. So I land it on the ground. Zero it out. Like that. So it's like, get down, bang, lands, boom, and lands forward like this, because I am kind of bringing my momentum forward. Let's not worry about that sword right now. Bang down like this. The sword almost ends up in the right place. So what I want to do is I want to go from this pose, this settle, into this pose. I'm going to step back. So hopefully you can kind of see where I'm headed here. Bang. Hits like this. I need to find that orange, that right shoulder control. There it is. So I go from really being pulled back to like really squashing down and settling on it. These shoulder controls are a little hard to grab. Looks a little weird, the shoulders. Change that angle just a little bit. I'm going to grab the sword. Looks like I've impaled myself here. So the sword, I think, is going to be grabbed from here. So I have to just it kind of goes pop, and then he lands like this, grabs the sword. And I do need to settle this. I do need to hold this pose. Like, I can't just hit this and go into that one. I need to go. This feels weak. I gotta be honest. This one feels weak. I need to like. Anytime it starts to feel weak is usually when it's like really compact, and a character like that is not the compact type. Then I need to kind of like rework it. Where even this wider stance feels much better. You know what I mean? Bang. And I can hold this. I can hold this for, I don't know, this how many frames? And then go into this pose. Something like that. and then I move this. Oops, let's try that selection again. Move it out here. There. See how I pivot off this foot here, this right foot? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, settle, and then rotate myself back this way. Okay, so if I move it into step mode, it kind of should look, just this part would be like, see how it kind of goes up, stabs, or I'm sorry, anticipation, throw, stab, come down, settle, and then rotate back. So let's take a look at what we got here. First hit, second hit, jump up, stab, down, right? So that's a cool, hopefully this looks like a cool combo to you. And those are our key poses, right? If I take a look at, grab everything, take a look at my graph editor, take a look at my timeline. It's like these are my absolutely essential minimum key poses, right? Let's kind of run through it one more time here. Idle, anticipation, another anticipation, hit, settle, settle, take off. I'm sorry, anticipation, anticipation, another anticipation, and then, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we have a lot of 4 anticipation poses here. Hit, settle, settle, take off, anticipation, anticipation. This is kind of our hit, even though we're not like making contact. It's like if you're a ranged character, I've done 2 melee attacks and a third one is ranged, and the ranged one is like a throw. So like that's essentially a hit frame, right? And then hold in on my hit frame, settle, 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 idle. Right. So kind of like cycling that method allows me to have like 3 very different timed out hits, and I tend to think that it works on not just melee stuff but the range stuff as well. Okay, so basically this is the end of the key pose stage, first pass key pose stage. If you are not happy with what you're doing with your own animation, you should not move forward at this point. You need to be very happy and very kind of confident in knowing what your attacks will look like, and how the energy is, how the flow is. Everything should be, this is your foundation, right? These key poses. So no matter what you do after this stage, you're building on that foundation. So this is obviously a very important stage. What we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to start getting into timing. I haven't done any kind of retiming of any kind. I know that the first 2 attacks are slow because I'm using them off video reference. So I'm going to look into retiming those and getting the flow and the energy of all 3 of them feeling good before I start to do more breakdowns. Right. So breakdown keys, that is. So yeah, next section, chapter, we're going to talk about retiming and getting the flow and energy working.